In 1867, Kansas State University held its first commencement. 3 women and 2 men graduated that year. As the first land-grant university in the nation, this fledgling university had a vision of providing innovative education to all people. That early vision has continued through to the present. With over 250 majors and a diverse student body, including students from all 50 states and more than 100 countries. Becoming one of the nation's top 50 public research universities by 2025 is today's vision for tomorrow. With academic programs among the best in the nation and professors who are leaders in their fields, Kansas State University is an international leader in teaching, learning, service, and research. Today's graduates join over 200,000 alumni who are proud to call K-State their alma mater. Congratulations, and thank you to all those who have supported them through their undergraduate experience at Kansas State University.
Good afternoon. I am Shauna Jordan, Assistant Dean, and it is my honor to welcome each of you on this joyous occasion. We in the College of Human Ecology join family and friends in celebrating the accomplishments of the graduating class of spring 2019. At this time, I invite you to join Andrea Contreras, Senior in Hospitality Management, and Rachel Gross, Master Student in Music, to sing the National Anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we walked were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Andrea and Rachel. Please be seated. As I introduce today's platform party, please hold your applause until all are introduced. On my right, your left, Dr. John Buckwalter, Dean, President Richard Myers, Dr. Charles Tabor, Provost and Executive Vice President, Amy Button-Renz, President and CEO, K-State Alumni Association, Vinka Chandrasekhar, Commencement Speaker and General Manager of Specialty Chemicals, Chevron Phillips Chemical Company, Caitlin Dumoth, Student Commencement Speaker and Degree Candidate in Kinesiology, Andrea Contreras, Student Vocalist and Degree Candidate in Hospitality Management, Dr. Michelle Toes, Associate Dean of Research and Professor, Family Studies and Human Services. On my left, your right, Barbara Anderson, Professor and Department Head, Apparel, Textiles, and Interior Design. Dr. Sonia Luter, Professor and Interim School Director, School of Family Studies and Human Services. Dr. Mark Hobb, Professor and Department Head, Food, Nutrition, Dietetics, and Health. Dr. Michael Ottenbacher, Professor and Department Head, Hospitality Management. Dr. Craig Harms, Professor and Department Head, Kinesiology. You may be seated. Please welcome Dr. John Buckwalter, Dean of the College of Human Ecology, to recognize our student commencement speaker.
Thank you, Shauna. Graduates, your families and your faculty are so very proud of your accomplishments. We expect that the future will hold great promise for each of you. Today, we celebrate your accomplishments at K-State. Caitlin Demuth will represent the graduating class as the Spring 2019 Student Commencement Speaker. Caitlin, would you please join me at the podium? Caitlin will graduate with a bachelor's degree in kinesiology. Daughter of Lawrence and Carla Demuth of Dodge City, Caitlin has been a dedicated student in the classroom, maintaining a 3.75 GPA or above each semester and earning summa cum laude academic honors for graduation. She is engaged in the K-State community, participating in the Pre-Physician's Assistant Club, where she was president, and as a Snyder Leadership Legacy Fellow. Off campus, Caitlin is a volunteer at Meadowlark Hills Retirement Community. She is also a research assistant with the Mary Ruth Thomas Ostomy Support Group in Manhattan. Following graduation, Caitlin will attend Physician Assistant School at Wichita State University. The College of Human Ecology is pleased to welcome Caitlin as she speaks on behalf of the graduating class. Congratulations.
Today marks the successful culmination of days, months, and years of hard work and perseverance. Congratulations, class of 2019. We did it. I would like to take a moment to thank all the professors, instructors, mentors, and advisors who helped us along our academic journey and who reminded us through their actions that when it comes to this college, in a world focused on things, we focus first on people. We should also take a moment to thank the friends, family, and peers who supported us throughout the process. For some, this day is full of excitement about what is to come. For others, there may be a bit of fear of the unknown or apprehension about how to respond to the questions regarding our plans after graduation. In spite of all these emotions, this day is one in which we can take pride in our abilities, our accomplishments, and ourselves. One word has stuck with me throughout college, and that word is grit. The dictionary defines grit as firmness of character, indomitable spirit. You may be more familiar with a similar word, resilience. You see, each one of us here today have a tremendous amount of grit and resilience. We have endured tough courses that demanded our time, energy, and effort. We took in countless bits of information that some of us may never use again, while others will use every day. However, there is one thing that we will all take away from our time here at Kansas State University, and that is our grit. Angela Lee Duckworth said in a TED Talk titled, "Grit, the Power of Passion and Perseverance," grit is sticking with your future day in and day out, not just for the day, not just for the month, but for years, and working really hard to make that future a reality. So by all means, celebrate today. You have earned it. Then tomorrow and every day following, use that grit and resilience, embrace and overcome the challenges that life presents you. Dr. Shauna Jordan, Assistant Dean, will now recognize students with academic honors.
Thank you, Caitlin. It is now my pleasure to recognize students whose academic performance earned cum laude, magna cum laude, and summa cum laude honors. 27 students have been awarded the designation cum laude. These students have a cumulative K-State grade point average of 3.750 to 3.849. 32 students have been awarded the designation magna cum laude. These students have achieved a 3.850 to 3.949 K-State academic average. 35 students have been awarded the designation summa cum laude, the highest academic honor conveyed by the university. These students have attained a 3.950 or higher cumulative grade point average. Will these students who earned summa cum laude, magna cum laude, and cum laude please stand to be recognized? Please join me in recognizing them. You may be seated, students. Kappa Omicron Nu is a national honor society dedicated to recognizing and encouraging excellence in scholarship, research, and leadership in human ecology. Kappa Omicron Nu students and faculty are wearing burgundy and cream honor cords today. Eta Sigma Delta is an international honor society for students with an excellent academic record in the hospitality and tourism industry. Eta Sigma Delta students are also wearing cords today as well. Please join me in congratulating these students. At this time, it is my honor and privilege to introduce today's distinguished speaker, Vinka Chandra Shaker. Vinka is the General Manager of Specialty Chemicals for Chevron Phillips Chemical Company. As General Manager, he oversees all commercial aspects and profit and loss responsibilities of this global business with teams in the Americas, Europe, and Asia. Vinka came to the U.S. from India in 1982 to attend school at Key State. He received his master's degree in clothing and textiles from the College of Human Ecology in 1984. He is passionate about mentoring and developing young diversity professionals and is also interested in cross-border and cross-cultural dealings both professionally and personally. Vinka and his wife, Roni, a board-certified physical therapist, reside in the Woodlands, Texas, and are proud parents of 2 grown sons. Please welcome Vinka Chandra Shaker to our speech.
Thank you, Dr. Jordan. Special thanks to Dean John Buckwalter, who asked me to come and have this commencement speech. And I would like to recognize and respect all the people on stage, as well as the audience, and hearty congratulations to this graduating team. It's with great honor and humility that I come to address this commencement. Reflecting on a meaningful takeaway for all of you, it brought me to this critical question: what is success? And more so, what is the definition of success as you go through your life? In this competitive world, the definition of success keeps changing. For my generation, the baby boomers, it was having a lifetime job, a suburban living, things like that. For your generation, I observed, it looks for personal satisfaction, professions with purpose, and above all, leaving this earth cleaner than you inherited it, much nobler than us. While the definition of success has changed and will continue to evolve, what meant success to one will not mean success to another. So that means path to your success is personal and absolute. It is not relative to anyone or anything. Success, while personal, is ever changing within your lifetime. There are goals you strive for that you may work very hard for, and it may not quite work out. It could be because of events beyond your control. But when you work through these situations, adapt and make the best of everything, get to know people, places, experiences, give, share, take, and learn in this journey of life, believe me, you will succeed. Be open to the elements, whatever they are, and you will have charted yourself a path to personal success, perhaps even with a new definition. The punchline really is this: success is not an endpoint. It is every moment that you shape yourself with the rest of the universe, living every moment and cherishing it like the moment before and the moment to come. My own story is a testament to this, that while I had a concept of what I wanted, everything and everyone I encountered on the way helped me give it the shape it has today. I'm from India, a town called Chennai, from a modest and loving family. My definition of success when I was in undergrad school was to come to the US to go to grad school, a goal I could not afford. The year was 1982. US was going through an economic recession and funds were very tight. My degree was in textile engineering, a field that was losing prominence to all other engineering disciplines. Of the schools that I applied to, only K-State Department of Clothing and Textiles gave me any hope of financial assistantship. After I made it here, no promises whatsoever. I had to take a risk. I reflect on Caitlin's comment about grit. I had to have some grit. This risk, I would find out later, bore rewards many times bigger. I borrowed the funds from a dear and affluent friend of mine, took a bank loan, and made my way to America. My dream was coming true. After 40 grueling hours of air travel, mind you, the previous one I had was for 40 minutes. I made it to Manhattan. The route had 4 stops: Delhi, Amsterdam, Chicago, and Kansas City, and then a puddle jumper to Manhattan. I arrived in Manhattan, it was nearly midnight, and I was dog-tired. Haven't slept a wink. I was so excited. There were a handful of passengers welcomed by their family and friends, and the airport nearly emptied, and they were about to close. You know Manhattan Airport, it's a small, in '82 it was smaller. I felt alone and asked about a taxi to go to a hotel nearest to the campus. The taxi fare and a one-night hotel stay was equal to a month's living expense back home. No, I said, I can't afford this. So I recovered my bedsheet my mother had thoughtfully packed, put my one big bag in the airport locker, strolled out to the airport grass, put it down there, and went to sleep. I was woken up by a majestic voice of a policeman asking me what I was doing there lying in the open grass. I took some time to recover, but politely told him that I had come to school, grad school, to K-State, and I would find my way there in the morning. He told me that there had been a couple of shootings in Fort Riley a few months ago, and this was a dangerous place for me to spend the night, and that I had to make my way to the university. I explained to him about my reservation, about spending so much money for taxi and hotel, when I could use it for tuition. Without reservation, he transported me to the university police station. It was 3 a.m. then. What a noble gesture. The university police were quick on their feet. They made calls to the Indian Student Association and located one of my childhood friends who had come to K-State many months ago. Mind you, this was the time there was no cell phone, there was no GPS, no way to track anybody, but they did it. They located my friend Maddie, and it was quite a reunion and quite a relief. Maddie took me to his place. I crashed as I was speaking and slept the next 10 hours. When I woke up, it was 3:30 p.m., and my luggage was still in the airport. I looked at Maddie. He did not have any transportation, so he hatched a plan. We ran to the International Student Association, and Alan Brettel, who was the International Student Officer then, he listened to me. He was closing the facilities. He said, get on my pickup truck. And he drove me to the airport. I retrieved my luggage, and he brought me back my temporary quarters. I thanked him profusely. Now, the next big challenge. How do I secure my graduate assistantship so I can earn money and have enough to live after paying tuition? Next day, I went to the second floor of Justin Hall to the Department of Clothing and Textiles. I asked to see if there were any professors in the department. This was late summer, and there was really no one there except Dr. Randy Brizzi. He was in. So they said you could go see him. I found my way to his office. He was sitting there with jeans, cowboy boots, flannel shirt, and busy at work, quite unlike any professor in India. But the nameplate was clear. I knocked on the door, and Dr. Brizzi patiently listened to me tell my story. And then he said, I'll see what I can do. That's all I asked for. He came through with a research assistantship, and I qualified for in-state tuition. You all know what that means. The next semester, Dr. Barbara Gatewood, who's also here today, would hire me as a research assistant, and I was all set. The professors and faculty at Justin Hall were very supportive and sort of adopted me. The policeman, the ISO officer, the professors, my classmates, my friends, faculty, employees, all here showed me the Kansas, the Midwest, and America that is compassionate, welcome, and nurturing. They helped shape my path today. So much so, I was determined. I wanted to make them proud. So I wanted to make them proud and return the favor by honoring my experience at this wonderful institution. And that was my definition of success. My current position as general manager of a multi-billion-dollar company achieved that. But now, that measure of success has changed again. For me, it is now being asked to come back and give this commencement speech and recount my journey to you. Respectfully acknowledge the people in this institution instrumental in shaping my life and in turn, for me to mentor others. For you, let it be that you already succeeded in this huge milestone graduating today. Begin honoring each experience and watch it shape your life. You will continue to succeed. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Amy Button-Renz, President and CEO for the K-State Alumni Association, who will bring greetings on behalf of the K-State Alumni Association.
Thank you very much, and I think you can see why we're very proud that he's a graduate of Kansas State University, so that was wonderful. I'm pleased to be part of your special day and offer congratulations on behalf of the K-State Alumni Association, representing over 250,000 graduates and friends who will be your lifelong K-State family. Today, as you receive your degree, we are excited to celebrate with you and your family. We're also here to welcome you into a new relationship with your alma mater as you begin this new chapter as a K-State graduate. Our mission at the Alumni Association is to lead and inspire lifelong involvement that will benefit Kansas State University and all members of the Wildcat community. I would like to share 3 of the core values that guide us in our mission to help you stay connected with K-State. The first value is link. The Alumni Association provides the lifelong link that alumni depend on to remain connected. You can stay in touch through hundreds of alumni activities held on campus, around the country, and internationally. Another value is tradition. You will likely celebrate a few traditions this weekend as you sing the alma mater or take KSU photos at your favorite spot on campus. You may also have fond memories of doing the Wabash at a K-State sporting event or rubbing the nose of the bronze Wildcat statue at the Alumni Center for good luck on a test or to ensure a Wildcat victory. As the keepers of tradition, we also hope you will have a chance to visit the Alumni Center to experience all of the wonderful traditions kept there, including our newest addition, a stained glass mural designed by 2016 graduate Marcus Gilbert, which pays tribute to the beauty of our state and the K-State campus. The third core value is purple. For K-Staters, it's more than a color. It's a symbol of pride, connection, and family. When you see someone wearing purple, or a K-State class ring, or sporting a K-State license plate, you will feel that sense of family. In recognition of your graduation, the College of Human Ecology and the Alumni Association are providing you with a complimentary 1-year membership to the Alumni Association. We hope you will enjoy the membership benefits and continue to be an active member after your first year. K-State alumni are among the most loyal in the nation. In fact, our membership ranks in the top 5 in the nation and #1 in the Big 12 for the percentage of graduates that are members. That loyalty is shared by generations of K-Staters who have the same passion for K-State that you feel today as you receive your degree from one of the finest universities in the nation. The Alumni Association is also pleased to present you today with an exclusive alumni business card holder. As you go through life and your titles and addresses change, please be sure to keep us updated. We want to make sure you are always connected to your K-State family. Congratulations, 2019 graduates, and go Cats.
Thank you, Amy. To the graduates of the class of 2019, your graduation is an important occasion. Your family members and friends, many of whom are with us today, have helped you achieve the goal of earning a college degree. Will you please join me in a round of applause to thank them? In addition, will the faculty in the College of Human Ecology rise so that we can thank and commend you? And now, the moment we've gathered to celebrate. Will all the candidates for degrees in the College of Human Ecology please stand? By the authority of the people of Kansas and the Kansas Board of Regents, upon recommendation by the faculty, and upon completion of degree requirements, I am pleased to confer upon you the respective baccalaureate degrees you have earned in the College of Human Ecology at Kansas State University. You may now move the tassel to the left side of your mortarboard. Congratulations to all the members of the class of spring 2019. You may be seated. At today's ceremony, I invite President Myers, Provost Charles Tabor, Assistant Dean Shauna Jordan, and Associate Dean Michelle Toes to join me for the presentation of diplomas. Barbara Anderson will present the degree candidates from the Department of Apparel, Textiles, and Interior Design.
Will the degree candidates from the Department of Apparel, Textiles, and Interior Design please stand? Dean Buckwalter, I present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Apparel and Textiles. Bachelor of Science in Apparel and Textiles, Michaela Michelle Abernathy. Caitlin Jane Allen. Rachel Broadall. Kate Marie Cheney. Magna cum laude Abigail Dawn Condry. Lauren N. D'Amato. Haley Allison Eaton. Taylor Lauren Ellis. Gianna Virginia Florentino. Amanda Lee Gayton. Amani Hassam. Cum laude, Sandy Helene Hare. Elizabeth Ann Hodges. Nayeli Jaquez. Oh, horrible, sorry. Elizabeth Patricia Jessen. Mackenzie Shea Larkin. John Lee. Megan Taylor Lindquist. April Christine Nicholson. Rachel Lynn Opstad. Brooke Elizabeth Robertson. Laura Madeline Spreet. Erin Sarah Stanwicks. Amanda Taylor Stebbins. Ashton Nicole Strube. Emily Mackenzie Van. Brianna Regine Walker. Catherine Gale Wallstad. Jessica Lauren Walter. Cum laude, Samantha Ann White. Laura Caitlin Wiebe. Xuan Zhang. Bachelor of Science in Interior Design, Alexandra Nicole Brown. Cassandra K. Fisher. Megan Grauer. Natalie Hine. Summa cum laude, Mackenzie Nicole Havenstein. Amanda Marie Jacobs. Summa cum laude, Alexa Pearl Kime. Magna cum laude, Madison Patricia Larkin. Cum laude, Angela Therese Leek. Carly Dawn Miskell. Secondary in Gerontology, Bethany Mary Pingle. Madison Kate Rios. Kara Rose Seiler. Allison Page Seifert. Tara Alexis Shane. Allison Ray Stout. Magna cum laude, Meredith Ann Verzino. Please join me in congratulating our new graduates. Dr. Sonia Luder will present the degree candidates from the School of Family Studies and Human Services.
Will the degree candidates from the School of Family Studies and Human Services please rise? Dean Buckwalter, I present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Family Studies and Human Services, Bachelor of Science in Human Development and Family Science, and Bachelor of Science in Personal Financial Planning. Bachelor of Science in Family Studies and Human Services, Communication Sciences and Disorders, Secondary in Gerontology, Paige Maureen Alexander. Alexandra Noelle Barney. Summa cum laude, Tara Ann Bledsoe. Katie Lane Campbell. Summa cum laude, Emma Michelle Dethridge. Sarah Dixon. Cum laude, Elizabeth Ann Hazenkamp. Magna cum laude, Emma Christine Irvin. Magna cum laude, Haley Elaine Johnson. Miriam Loretta Corey. Raquel Otero. Sarah Elizabeth Pitzer. Allison Irene Brassett. Callie Joe Riffle. Courtney Michelle Root. Cum laude, Audrey Taylor Schamberg. Magna cum laude, Caitlin Danielle Starrett. Secondary in gerontology, Hannah Elizabeth Upshaw. Darby Leanne Wyckoff. Early childhood education, magna cum laude, Tracy Diane Victoria Higgins. Cassandra Clavel Johnson. Cum laude, Gretel Joyce Pollock. Cum laude, Bailey Joe Smitch. Family Studies and Human Services, Claudette Chantel Allen. Alyssa Maria Barquero Garcia. Chandler Paige Berry. Karina Ashley Bledsoe. Alexis Alexandria Burns. Michaela Brianne Campfield. Eric Duarte Miranda. Megan Nicole Deister. Nathaniel Andrew Faflick. Natron D. Gibson. Summa cum laude, Lindsay Denise Hamner. Joshua Michael Hansard. Summa cum laude, McLean Catherine Heimer. Cum laude, Molly Marie Jensonius. Cum laude, Morgan Marlene Jensonius. Danae Lee Jones. Kayleen Kennedy Laird. Madison Taylor Lechner. Scott Wilson Milnar. Anna Nicole Miller. Magna cum laude, secondary in gerontology, Carson Elaine Miller. Riley Logan Miller. Akila Mitchell. Kairang Grace Nickel. Michaela Cornine Norwood. Ashley Lene Novo Grodek. Summa cum laude, Noelle Marie Olson. Samantha Ann O'Shea. Emma Grace Ramy. Magna cum laude, secondary in gerontology, Madison Grace Rockers. Mariah K. Shirley. Danielle Rochelle Slimmer. Secondary in gerontology, Elizabeth Nancy Webster. Hannah Elizabeth Wilson. Savannah Ann Workman. Magna cum laude, Mackenzie Lee Zimmerman. Bachelor of Science in Human Development and Family Science. Magna cum laude, Tara Lynn Ackerman. Hannah Renee Adams. Abdul Latif Naji Beecham. Cum laude, Juncinta Janae Burkamp. Tyron Arnell Bowen, Jr. Danielle Kathleen Braun. Magna cum laude, Madison Alyssa Cannon. Jordan Diane Chalker. Secondary in gerontology, Rachel K. Connor. Kathleen Keanu Dela Cruz. Megan K. Downing. Kelsey K. Drulo. Secondary in gerontology, Kenna Elizabeth Elder. Rebecca Caitlin Gregory. Kaylin Suzanne Helm. Catherine Marie Helton. Magna cum laude, Catherine Grace Henderson. Kristen Kyle Hodney. Alicia K. Harris. Michelle Ann Kohaki. Peyton Codell Lazo. Secondary in gerontology, J.C. Lee Leonard. Madeline Elizabeth Lett. Mallory Jean Martin. Catherine Grace McCoy. Summa cum laude, Emily Lynn Moormeyer. Laura Nicole Needham. Heather Kelsey Polly. Courtney Michelle Porter. Magna cum laude, Bethany Mabel Rich. Emily Anae Riley. Stephen Fitzgerald Ryan. Maylee Hayden Sherman. Morgan Lynn Muffy Shetler. Cum laude, Caroline Noel Pipes Simpson. Felicia Smith. Sierra Nicole Smith. Josephine Ann Vitash. Summer Waba. Summa cum laude, Christina Kathleen Wiley. Patricia Marie Williams. Bachelor of Science in Personal Financial Planning, Andrew Hunter Cobb. Adam Michael Eilert. Summa cum laude, Gregory Jack Giardino. Jerry Marie Hitz. Ashton Adair Jackson. Caroline Sue Hammond May. Rachel O. McCulloch. Joshua D. Payne. Summa cum laude, Honors Project, Abigail Kathleen Pope. Stephen Michael Snodgrass. Congratulations. Blake Aaron Stout. Brandon Scott Sutcliffe. Please join me in congratulating our new graduates. Dr. Mark Hobb will present the degree candidates from the Department of Food, Nutrition, Dietetics, and Health.
Will the degree candidates from the Department of Food, Nutrition, Dietetics, and Health please rise? Dean Buckwalter, I present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Athletic Training, Bachelor of Science in Dietetics, and Bachelor of Science in Human Nutrition. Bachelor of Science in Athletic Training, Kyla Noel Bendel. John Michael Blazer. Haley Lynn Brown. Andrew Kyle Dickman. Austin Dean Diedrich. Ryan Folsom Ehrenberg. Bachelor of Science in Athletic Training and Bachelor of Science in Kinesiology, Secondary in Gerontology, Jordan Nicole Joseph. Magna cum laude, Paige Justine Keblitz. Colton Allen Cook. Secondary in Gerontology, Amanda Rose McIlvain. Emily Renee Pitts. Paloma Roman. Brandon Patrick Sand. Cum laude, Secondary in Gerontology, Joseph Michael Schmidt. Catherine Ann Strite. Eric Paul Trueblood. Matthew Gabriel Vale. Magna cum laude, Emma Smith Ware. Cum laude, Jasmine Williams. Cameron Nicole Williamson. Bachelor of Science in Dietetics, Erin Lindsay Carter. Taylor Marie Doman. Magna cum laude, Honors Project, Lena Elizabeth Ewald. Monica Ann Himmler. Amanda Josephine Rita Hines. Secondary in Gerontology, Sarah Christine Hoeing. Cum laude, Mackenzie B. King. Sean Martin Lawson. Magna cum laude, Sarah Rose Morris. Summa cum laude, Madison Lee Osborne. Cum laude, Amber Lynn Paxton. Michelle C. Riggs. Mallory Jean Scherf. Cum laude, Caitlin Rain Schwartz. Cum laude, Isabella Irene Scola. Rhonda Jackson Snyder. Magna cum laude, Jessica Marie Steckline. Cum laude, Quincy Emma Swanson. Summa cum laude, Carissa Ann Tummins. William Alexander Vonderschmidt. Cum laude, Alexis Renee Witt. Bachelor of Science in Human Nutrition, Nutrition and Health, Megan Elizabeth Bentler. Magna cum laude, Secondary in Gerontology, Connor Ann Brenning. Taylor Jade Bruna. Cum laude, Secondary in Gerontology, Macy Marie Burke. Mitchell Perrier Crane. Abby Catherine Ewert. Elizabeth Marie Foglid. Tyus Alexander Heinrich. Secondary in Gerontology, Garrett Rex Keefe. Emily Elizabeth Keller. Secondary in Gerontology, Brendan Philip Martins. Michaela Ann McGehee. Melissa Elizabeth Mata. Cum laude, Secondary in Gerontology, Cordell William Neely. Secondary in Gerontology, Megan Leanne Ochoa. Jennifer Arcezelli Ortiz. Summa cum laude, Rachel Marie Schwent. Secondary in Gerontology, Madison Ray Smolich. Christian Thomas Sorensen. Summa cum laude, Haley Lynn Tatum. Magna cum laude, Secondary in Gerontology, Corey Lynn Valentine. Ali Elaine Vandervoort. Nutrition and Kinesiology, Bachelor of Science in Human Nutrition, Nutrition and Kinesiology, and Bachelor of Science in Kinesiology, summa cum laude, Janelle K. Debus. Bachelor of Science in Human Nutrition, Nutrition and Kinesiology, and Bachelor of Science in Kinesiology, Secondary in Gerontology, Nikki Joe Hafner. Bachelor of Science in Human Nutrition, Nutrition and Kinesiology, and Bachelor of Science in Kinesiology, Jocelyn Nicole Hayes. Bachelor of Science in Human Nutrition, Nutrition and Kinesiology, and Bachelor of Science in Kinesiology, Tanner Reed Langert. Bachelor of Science in Human Nutrition, Nutrition and Kinesiology, and Bachelor of Science in Kinesiology, Diana Christine Obermuller. Nutritional Sciences, magna cum laude, Nicholas Alexander Buzianis. Matthew Vernon Burnett. Meredith Kelly Clark. Wade Dennis Drouillard. Summa cum laude, secondary in gerontology, Clayton Ralph Jackson. Secondary in gerontology, Zachary S. Ketcher. Magna cum laude, McKenna Joe Parker. Please join me in congratulating our new graduates. Dr. Michael Ottenbacher will present the degree candidates from the Department of Hospitality Management.
Will the degree candidates from the Department of Hospitality Management please rise? Dean Buckwalter, I present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Hospitality Management and Bachelor of Science in Hotel and Restaurant Management. Bachelor of Science in Hospitality Management, Madison Carly Bannock. Mackenzie Therese Elwood. Emma Rose Bartlett. Mary Colleen Becker. Bailey Lynn Brown. Hunter James Clark. Andrea Troy Contreras. Zachary Thomas Evans. Cody M. Filbert. Margaret Bess Jackson. Alexis Lee Jordan. Mariah Kina Kinderknecht. Raina Elizabeth Kittredge. Afton Elizabeth Moore. Dakota Lee Nelson. Madison Kathleen Pellman. Lauren Reyes. Nicole Alicia Roncas. Elizabeth Morgan Shever. Daniel Dakota Stapp. Cum laude McKenna Lee Stout. Tess Alexandra Tanus. Bethany Ann Angels. Macy Matthias Walker. Anne-Marie Wilcoxon. Sarah Alicia Wright. Risa Yasukawa. Mary Margaret Yaros. Magna cum laude Nicole Elizabeth Sarah. Wen Sang, Xiao Qiu, please join me in congratulating our new graduates. Associate Dean Michelle Toes will present the degree candidates from the Department of Human Ecology. Bachelor of Science.
Will the degree candidates from the Department of Human Ecology please rise? Dean Buckwalter, I present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Human Ecology. Bachelor of Science in Human Ecology, Family and Consumer Sciences Education, Megan Renee Glenn. Summa cum laude, Jessica Ann Malley. Cassandra Young Nguyen. Emily Grace Nicole. Brittany Suzanne Laura Potter. Taylor Lee Spengler. General Human Ecology, Diamond Brielle Dunn. Madison Lee Jenke. Uchul Zhu Lee. Thank you. Aaron Lee Meyerhoff. Please join me in congratulating our new graduates. Dr. Craig Harms will present the degree candidates for the Department of Kinesiology.
Will the degree candidates from the Department of Kinesiology please rise? Dean Buckwalter, I present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Kinesiology. Bachelor of Science in Kinesiology, Cameron Nicole Webster. Madeline Elaine Abbs. Christian. Hilberto Aria Jr. Summa cum laude, Alexandra Danielle A. Summa cum laude, Megan Elizabeth Bates. Summa cum laude, Jacob Daniel Biller. Jake Vincent Bruna. Marlene Canchola. Melissa Canchola. Zoe H. Taylor Carter. Asa Castro Miller. Christopher John Chance. Nathaniel Larson Clennon. Magna cum laude, Erin Elizabeth Coates. Summa cum laude, Amanda Nicole Coffin. Jesse Holbrook Crawford, Jesse's diploma will be presented by his mother, Dr. Allison Wheatley, Assistant Dean and Associate Professor of English in the College of Arts and Sciences. Cum laude, Aubrey Lynn Davis. Brandon Wayne Davis. Summa cum laude, Student Commencement Speaker, Caitlin Claire Demuth. Emma Catherine Dobson. Summa cum laude, Honors Project, Jordan Sierra Eberhardy. Cum laude, Noah Hopkins Ida Miller. Andrea Guadalupe Enciso. Ethan Colby Fabriches. Gabriela Belen Ferrone. Charlie Joe Eileen Fine. Emma Grace Hilgenfeld. Corey Brooke Fisher. Hannah Jean Fisher. Secondary in Gerontology, Ginger Gitcho. Magna cum laude, Ryan Scott Gudenkopf. Cum laude, Caitlin Elizabeth Harkelrod Road. Sydney Rebecca Harrison. Summa cum laude, Katrina Marie Kaltefleiter. Magna cum laude, Secondary in Gerontology, Shayna Renee Carmen. Krista Ann Kaberlein. Brianne Emma Kennedy. Patricia Renee Ketchum. Summa cum laude, Riley Page Malia Colleen. Micah Scott Kirkendall. Paige Alexandra Klimas. Frances Ann Kaur. Summa cum laude, Catherine Rose Kralachek. Karen Cecilia Lehigh. Heather Marie Lips. Eliza Rose Little. Secondary in Gerontology, Curtis Allen Lovenstein. Secondary in Gerontology, Maeve Ann Martin. Secondary in Gerontology, Hannah Marie Mauler. Magna cum laude, Justin Owen McCartney. Amber Nicole McClure. Jessica Nicole McKenna. Nicholas Ross McLennan. Ramsey Michael McMullen. Mary Frances McNellis. Lucas Tyrell Meitler. Joseph Henry Marino. G.T. Met and Jewel Dinner. Corbin T. Miller. Cum laude, Joshua Scott Miller. Summa cum laude, Macy Ann Mock. Summa cum laude, Courtney Danielle Moore. Summa cum laude, Aiden Michael Murray. Jacob Paul Nicolette. Eric William Nilsson. Lucy Amber Parker. Nathan Lee Peters. Callie Ann Pitcock. Cum laude, Emily Allison Poole. Melitza Rios Ramirez. Cum laude, Elisa Brianne Ray. Melody Christian Ridge. Megan Elizabeth Rongish. Allison Diane Roseland. Cum laude, Honors Project, Paige Elizabeth Saltz. Summa cum laude, Kiana Schulze. William Daniel DeFore Chateau. Summa cum laude, Lily S. Smith. Annalise G. Spence. Jess Krista St. John. Mia Sinclair Taylor. Abigail Francis Tomes. Taylor Annette Torrey. Brenton Carl Troutman. Magna cum laude, Jordan Elise Tuck. Cum laude, secondary in gerontology, Trey Alexander Turner. Antonio Fega. Lauren Elizabeth Walker. Benjamin Thomas Wazar. Sean Daniel Whitmore. Honors Project, Hannah Beth Williams. Gage Alexander Woodyard. Kristen Lane Wyatt. Please join me in congratulating all of our new graduates. Yep. You're welcome.
Graduates, you came to Kansas State University from all corners of the world, and for a brief moment in time, your lives converged in the classrooms and laboratories and studios in the College of Human Ecology. It has been for us a privilege to help you learn. From here, your lives will once again diverge as you pursue advanced degrees and careers, and as you follow your passions through as yet unknowable life pursuits. As you start your new lives, I would like to leave you with a couple of thoughts. Do not think of your newly minted degrees as a ticket to a specific place, but rather as a passport that can take you to an unlimited number of destinations. Indeed, as privileged passport holders, you have access to places that you cannot even imagine. Embrace the journey, but be generous with your time, talents, and resources. As college graduates, you are a privileged group. Take others with you on your fabulous journey. Invest yourself in the lives of others, your community, and your alma mater. The College of Human Ecology and Kansas State University are extremely proud of each of you. Please stay connected to your K-State family. We can't wait to see where your journey takes you. Once again, congratulations and best wishes to the College of Human Ecology graduating class of 2019. At this time, I invite each of you to stand and join Andrea and Rachel in the singing of the alma mater for the first time as alumni. The words are printed on page 3 of your program. At the end of the refrain, audience, please be seated for the recessional.
You will carry the banner high. KSU, long, long may the colors fly. Loyal to thee, thy children will swell the cry.